Usually they were on the no.
Whoa.
That was cool.
Yeah. We can jam to anything.
Patrick.
What's up, Dr. LaShine?
Hey.
How are you guys?
Coming to you all the way from the somewhat gloomy St. Louis, Missouri.
I know it's really cold for April.
We ain't got it like you in
LA.
Yeah, you know,
You got a fan on and everything, babe.
I know. I see.
It's been in the high 70s, 80s. So
you know what? You really didn't have to tell us though. I mean, you kick us while we down?
You kick us while we down. It's all good. I always tell people from California, bring us back a palm tree, but they don't. They won't.
They don't
last anyway. They'll last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll bring you a palm tree. So you
can bring us a fake one.
Look at Pastor Jordan. What's up, Pastor Jordan?
The
State. Dr. LaShine, you're gonna have to meter us because we will have a great time, but we want to be obedient.
This is what I need. I need authentic.
You better ask some questions, girl.
Well, I have questions, but here's the thing: I never stick to the questions. So we're gonna have fun with this, and partially because it'd be so many devices going and StreamYard and this, and I can't keep up. So, and I know YouTube. So first of all, I want to thank you to, again, for taking out some time. You know, I've been doing these weekly online things, and I'm just so excited with all of the pre-Wonder Woman conference discussions we've been having. And I'm grateful that the two of you will be gracing the stage. It's a blessing and an honor that, you all will be with us. And I'm just so excited. So thank you again for accepting the call. And I just want everybody to know who is Cedric and Kira Cobb. So the two lovebirds who just sisters in waiting and brothers in waiting, just ready and fire for love. So I'm excited for you all and what you are going to bring to the women who will be in attendance. And so, a portion of this, when I first began just trying to lay out everything and what I wanted to do, I knew there was a piece that I really wanted to focus on building women holistically. And ideally, one of those areas are preparing yourself for kingdom marriages, for kingdom purpose partners. And not just that, because there might be some women who are there that are married, but how is it to, not just be marriage purpose partners, but to be business partners, and it's exciting when you can, do business with the man or the woman God has for you. So I think those 2 points are really going to be exciting, because not only will you, Kira, talk about the waiting period, the getting together period, and how this all happened, but how it is now to be together in a union and doing business. And so we're going to let the people who are on with us today just kind of hear some snippets of what you're going to be sharing. So I know your topic is what is it? It's courtship to covenant. Are you really ready?
Are you really ready?
When I read that, I said, "Oh,
okay." Well, you know what? First of all, Dr. LaShine, thank you so much for having us and for recognizing God in our covenant and trusting us with your ministry assignment. And so we are very honored. For those of you who are watching, Dr. LaShine Denise Witt is hosting a phenomenal Wonder Woman conference in Houston, Texas in May. So if you have not gotten your tickets, please adhere to the bottom of the screen, find out what the registration requirements are at this point. And then just a side note, Dr. LaShine actually came and she served Cedric and I during our ceremony. And so we are forever grateful. We are very thankful for your person and your expertise and your professionalism and just every little detail that you gave us. And you served us. And so we are so grateful for that. We're forever grateful. So this is the least we can do.
That was fun. I had so much fun. It was good. It was a beautiful union, and I was grateful to be a part of it. Absolutely.
Well, we're going to be talking about going from courtship to covenant and really asking ladies, are they really ready? You know, there's so many things that we're hearing, everyone is hearing. We watch on TV, we listen to podcasts, and everybody talks about what they want, what they don't want in marriage. And really just thinking about it from the biblical perspective, because God created marriage.
Right.
And so we don't have to guess. We don't have to try to make up rules because we live in 2023 and we want things to be different. Really, we need to find out what God says about covenant.
Yes.
But before you get to covenant, there's so many things that he wants to prepare us for. So when we arrive, we're not looking like deer in headlights.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be talking about that. And the question is, are you really ready? You know, not ready for the ring and the dress and all of the hoopla that come with the day, but ready for what happens after the guests leave, after the ring isn't so shiny, after the dress is hanging up in a closet somewhere. Now, how am I actually supposed to be in covenant with this person? So that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about. But you're right. God did bless us to be able to work in all aspects of our life together. And so we're excited about what God has for us and what God is doing. We were both entrepreneurs before we met each other. We have a lot of success as singles, apart from each other. Our businesses were thriving before we met one another. And so I remember asking Cedric shortly after we had been in our courtship, and he asked me into courtship, which we'll talk about that at the conference. But after that, Dr. LaShawn, I remember asking him, what was the purpose of us being together? Because I knew what his purpose was and I knew what my purpose was, but what was the purpose for us being together? Mm-hmm. And when I asked him, baby, tell him what you tell him what you said.
So it was so ironic because in my prayer time, I think it was either that morning or the day before, God helped me understand what we were actually put together for. You know, obviously, what's great is that our purposes and our callings work very, very well together, just in general. So that part is just the maturation process is awesome in that area. But God revealed to me that we sit at an intersection. You know, it's an intersection.
Yes.
That intersection that we sit at, the two roads that cross each other, is marketplace ministry.
Right.
And being advocates for singles who desire to be couples.
Yes.
And that is hugely important. So what you are doing is you're allowing us to be on a platform that helps us with our purpose.
Absolutely.
That helps us with our purpose. And you know, I'll tell you this, I'm so glad that Pastor Jordan is on. So for those of you who do not know Pastor Jordan, he's the senior pastor of the Advancing Church in St. Louis. And we are a growing international church. We've even expanded out into South Africa as well. We have another church out there, which is just nothing short of amazing. But I've been privileged with the calling of actually being his armor bearer for, I think I'm going on 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
So I've been with Pastor in Advancing Church before it was the Advancing Church. And so I've had an opportunity to be around a true man of God, a leader, and learn and glean so much from him. And one of the things that he talked about, as we've always talked about relationships, is that when you come together as a man and a wife, it's like, if you're going to date each other, what you really should be trying to find out is, can you build together?
Yes. Absolutely.
Can you actually build together? Because unfortunately, many people that I do know, they have spouses or significant others, and they can't build a sandcastle together.
Nope.
They can't do it. Yeah. Who's the leader? I don't like that size. Let's use this bucket. And there's no cooperation. There's no continuity. There's no submitting themselves to one another, that type of thing. And we found out very early on that we build together, and we have a good time doing it. And I know this sounds so cliche, and people are going to be like, "Oh, that's so irritating. I can't believe." But what it is that we do like freaking everything together.
Everything.
We really do. We love to shop together. We love to watch movies together.
We have a lot of dialogues together. We conversate about intellectual things together. We pray every morning together. We pray all day. If you're with us, our kids tell us we got Jesus Tourette's, because you never know what's gonna break out. But you're covered though. That's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to come together as a husband and a wife, the enemy does not like marriage at all. So if you're not covering that thing in prayer, drenching it as much as you possibly can, and making sure that regardless of whatever happens, you don't recede from each other. You actually run to each other at a time of indifference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And every time you encounter something, you should actually have another layer of skin, another deepness of toughness that comes along with it as a couple, not as individuals.
Yes.
And so we say this quite often, and I learned this also from Pastor Jordan. He said, if you are going to be called to something higher, okay, if you're going to be dealing with God's people, and that means your spouses, your children, all that, you have to be able to heal quickly. And forgive fast.
Forgive fast. Can somebody put that in the comments?
Heal quickly,
and forgive fast.
And if there be anything that you want to be a generational curse to continue on in your family, don't forgive quickly and don't heal fast.
Hold grudges and things.
For real. So if you want to change the trajectory of that in your family, you have to be the example in that area. Really, really do.
That's good. Well, you've touched on some great points and things that, we've had this discussion a couple of times. I've had an opportunity to see your broadcast, Kira. I think one of the things that I would like to really focus on is we as women, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. When you have accomplished a lot in life, whether you've been married before at a younger age, or, you've never been married before, by the time we get to our age, you've accomplished so many things, your businesses, you're working full time, you may have a ministry, all the different things that we're doing. And sometimes, women feel like it's going to be difficult when you have to get prepared, if you will, for the one. And it's often we feel like we've got all these things, we've got all these accomplishments, and all these things are in place. And it's like, where does that now all fit when you are finally presented to the one that God has for you? And this is a question that I want to ask you in terms of just being established, having your ministry. You are a successful author with several books and just things that you accomplished prior to meeting Cedric. What is just one thing that you would tell women like myself, because I am someone obviously in waiting? What do you tell someone like me when it's trying to figure out how do those pieces begin to fit together when you're saying, okay, I'm 46, and it's like, where do those things now come when it's time, to be pursued by the man that God has for you? What is a woman to do? Because we always feel like it's not going to happen for us because all these different things are, it's like, where does he fit?
Yeah. So I did have that question initially. And I think, I will speak for what I did. My question to God was, what am I going to do with all of this stuff that I've done prior to Cedric? And what I was instructed to do was to bring my whole self to the men, to him. Bring my whole self to Cedric. Bring my whole self to the marriage. So I was not bringing my accomplishments. And I want to talk about this for a moment. So Dr. LaShawn, if I get off subject or if I offend anybody, I'm not apologizing up front. Let me just say it that way. I know that we live in a society where there are a lot of our Christian single sisters. My sisters is what I call them because they are. And we have been fed this message of modern women. And we've been fed this message of this I'm not going to compromise. He's just going to have to accept me as I am. I've done all of these things. But when we think about covenant is God's idea, and God has really clear instructions. There's no confusion. My job was to bring Kira to Cedric. When Cedric decided he wanted me, now all of the things that came with Kira, that was God's way, and that was his decision to sort out all of those things. What we do a lot of times as women, as we want to lead with our accomplishments. We want to lead with what we've done. We want to lead with all of the things that we've acquired. I come to the table and I'm bringing all of these things to the table. So then the question be to the man, what are you bringing to the table? Right? Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Here's my question. How is that working?
Yeah.
How far have we gotten with that mindset?
Right.
Not
Right.
very far, right?
Agree.
Because we're hoarding all of the stuff
Yeah.
and then we're bringing it to a table and then we turn around and we tell the man, now I want you to cover me,
Mm-hmm.
right? All I have to do is bring me. And
So,
whatever parts of me that now need to show up in my covenant, God is going to make sure that those things don't get left behind. Because there were things that I was doing when I was single that God did not bring. They did
yes.
not get on the U-Haul. I
Yes.
did not move them in. So there were things that I loved that God said, you don't need that anymore. I
Exactly.
need that space. Give me that part of you because now I'm going to fit it with what I'm doing with Cedric.
Mhm.
So we have to be reminded as ladies, if we really want to be married, that's the question. Are you really ready? Do you just want all of the things? I say all the time, do you want a handbag or do you want a husband?
Ooh, I love that.
Do you want this house that you done bought or do you really want a husband?
Yikes.
Because when you have the husband that God has for you,
Yeah.
he's going to value what you've done.
That's
I
true.
can't tell you how much Cedric has told me how proud he is of me.
I love it.
I see you. I saw what you built. I recognize how hard it was for you. I applaud what you did, but I'm here now. What can we do with this? We probably don't need that anymore. Why? Because when we are moving into covenant, I'm leaving me behind for we.
That's right.
Yes. Yes. That's important.
So the fear and the anxiety in us, we really do have to tamper that down some.
Yeah.
God's not going to let you bring anything that you don't need, and he's not going to have you leave anything that you're going to need. Ooh, that was so good.
That was good.
That was good.
That was so good.
Mhm.
Can someone put that in the comments? God's not going to let me bring anything into covenant that I don't
That you
need.
don't need.
And he's not going to let me leave anything in my singleness that I'm not going to need when I show
Jesus.
up.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
hope that helped.
No, that definitely helped. And for those who are watching or will watch this, please be sure to share and tag.
Mhm.
I think it's important to understand the concept of I versus we. And because we are dynamic women who have excelled in so many different areas, we're leaders, we're business owners, our careers have taken off, we're mothers, and all these different things. We're so accustomed to I. But I becomes we. And that's one of the things that when I'm having conversations with girls, we're conversing just about different things. It's, well, where's the we in all of this? And sometimes they miss the we. And you're right. You hear people saying, well, he's got to do this and no, that's not quite how it works when God brings you together. So we is important. And that's language that we have to be prepared to use when it comes, because that's the success of being kingdom purpose marriage partners. And people miss that, especially when you're talking to women who are successful in the marketplace, in the ministry, the women in which we're targeting in the Wonder Woman. It's, you can be successful as a business owner, successful in your career, and successful in your ministry, but be successful in your marriage. And people to know that,
first.
Yes, exactly. Your
Be
marriage.
successful in your marriage first.
That's it.
So
That's
my job, my focus, my role, now my first job, my first focus, and my first role is to be his wife.
Absolutely.
You know why? Because nobody else can be his wife.
Nobody can be his wife. No.
I'm the only woman that's allowed to be his wife.
That's it. Yes.
I'm the only woman that can meet his needs. I'm
Right.
the only woman that can touch him, that can pray for him, that can do what he needs done. And so if I'm over here with split focus,
You're going to miss it.
I'm going to miss it. And
Yes.
then now I'm going to be mad because I'm going to be talking about how the enemy came in and stole my husband. No, I left the door open.
That's right. That's right. And that's so important. And just having conversations is that your first ministry is to your husband. And, that's my prayer, God. I want to be sure and certain that when that time comes that I minister to him completely first, and then we're ministry partners, and then we're business partners, or whatever that area, or however that goes. But the first job is for me to be his wife first. So that's important. And sometimes that's why marriages fail, because their attention is over here or over there, or their communication is lost. And so when you're talking about, are you ready? It's those kingdom women waiting. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Because it takes a whole level of discipline that you've got to be able to balance that. And men, they need certain, attention at certain times, and they're a little bit different than us women.
Very different.
Cedric,
Very
do you
different.
agree with that?
100%. Let me say this in the spirit of being an advocate for singles who desire to be couples, because so much of it has to do with readiness, right? And readiness has a lot to do with it's who do you be, so we know who you can have. Who do you be? There are ladies, some of my spiritual sisters that have a laundry list of things that they want in their man and their relationship and all that. I said, okay, cool. Well, want what you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But does what you want you? And that's usually a tough pill to swallow, because that means that you want your man who's worked really hard to be all those things you want on a discount. You're saying, but I know I may not be what you want, but I need you to discount your expectations for me to be what you need. And it's like, no, I can't lower the bar, work too hard to be who I am. So I want you to think about it like this from a single standpoint. We talk about what do you bring to the table and all of that. Okay. So let's roll with the table for a second. Okay. Let's just go with it. Okay. So typically what you really want to talk about is let the man talk about what's at the top of the table. Okay. So roll with me on this. So in order for a man to even really get your real true attention and you taking him serious, he has to show that he has a level of stability. He's got vision, vector, income, faith. He's got, some drive. He's got all of those types of things that make him a man, a protector, a provider, a visionary, those types of things. So many times men have to come to the table putting everything they got on the table first. Yes. Right. And then all of a sudden, then you ladies get to unfold your arms, you get to relax a little bit. So, okay, maybe I can open up to him a little bit or whatnot. Now, the mistake that ladies make is they come to the table saying the exact same things. My education and my credit and I've been successful with my business and all that. No, that is a masculine response. Okay. Now, let's look underneath the table, because that's what we're really looking for. Right. So what's underneath the table is that you are accomplished in all these other areas, but you got to turn it upside down.
Yes.
Okay. So what you do is that someone says, well, what do you think you really bring to the table? Say, well, no, I feel like I'm a bona fide sweetheart. I love people. I love to have the ability to nurture. I love being able to be in situations that allow me to operate in my divine femininity, so I don't have to be rough and tough and tumble and all those types of things. I really love the community. I love kids. I love taking care of my mother. I love, scheduling events and celebrating people and giving gifts and all those type of things. And I just so happen to have a PhD and I got good credit, got a couple nice rides, right. Live in a pretty cool crib, just to add that on there.
Yeah.
But what he heard was all the other things first, because we're going to put more weight on that, because that's what we need. We don't need your house. We don't need your car. We don't necessarily need your credit and all those other things. We don't necessarily need those things.
Baby, would you agree though, whenever you all say we don't need those things, you're not discounting the fact
not at all
that I had to do those things.
Yes, not at all. Is it we don't want you to lead with what we're leading with, because that's a masculine response. You can have all of those things and that's cool, but you're putting too much weight on the wrong thing in the moment. Does that make sense?
Right.
That makes sense.
A man who sees you,
I was just going to ask that.
A man who sees you is going to be like, you know what? You are one phenomenal lady.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen you do this and I've seen you do that. I watched you, because trust me, marriage-minded men, we watch. And when I tell you, we're looking at every picture on your Facebook page. We're looking at every video. We're looking at.
I gotta be careful what I post.
We're looking at. Okay, all right. Does she be twerking all the time?
Oh,
or do she just twerk on her birthday? Okay, that's okay. Birthday twerking, and they'll be all right.
Because you want her to be able to twerk.
Yeah. We want you to have some fun. We want you to be able to twerk a little bit. But We want that for us,
For
you
them,
know.
for them.
You know that what
Right.
I heard the brother say. He said, "That's my cookies and
That's
candy."
my cookies
He
and
said that
candy.
belong to us. I don't
Right.
want you
I
sharing
don't
all
want you
that with the
sharing
world,
that.
right?
Yeah.
And so those things are what's really really important ultimately.
That's good. For anybody that is watching, like I said, or will watch, this is important information because we don't have these conversations. They're always so surface when you're talking
Mhm.
about what you're looking for in a husband and a wife and what we see. And this is our favorite
Mhm.
couple and
Yeah.
oh, them on the shade room. And these are
Mhm.
conversations that you do not
Yeah.
have. And, I've never been married before. So I'm at a disadvantage when it comes to certain conversations. But from what I've seen from friends and those who are close to, I don't want to make those mistakes. I want to be as close as right possible, perfected as I can
Mhm.
when it is my time. And I know that my time is coming very
Come
soon.
on.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely. And
areas
we're
that,
trusted and believing that same
In
yeah,
thing,
agreement.
yeah,
as well. Let me say this. There are some things that a lot of ladies who are operating in singleness don't really understand. Like if you have, I'm gonna use this as an example. I think it's a great example. If you have a man that is a masculine man who cares about protecting you, and he's like, for instance, when a man walks into an environment, we're always thinking about what's the safest way in, the safest way out. If something happens, how am I gonna hit this exit? How am I gonna get her back to the car
yeah,
safely? We're thinking about our environment, who's gonna be there. We're considering all those things. We don't just walk out of the house oblivious and we just gonna handle things as they happen. We're anticipating things when they happen.
right.
So let's say, for instance, you're getting ready to leave, and you have something on that may be maybe a little bit more revealing than what he would like for you to wear.
Mhm.
Okay, with or without him, he may say, "Well, sweetie, I love what you have on. I really, really do. But for this particular event, can you make this one edit for me? I'm gonna need you to maybe cover up the girls a little bit for this one. You can wear something form fitting, which you look great in, but I just need you to cover the girls up a little bit." How you answer that question is critically important. How do you respond to that is really important, because I want you to understand a woman can
Yeah.
literally put a man in a place that you put his life at risk.
Yeah.
Right.
Because what happens if he realizes you're going into an environment that may have a lot of hound dogs that are subject to be disrespectful,
Mhm.
and if they're disrespectful to you, and him being the man that he is, he's going to step up, he's going to handle that situation. When he does, he's literally putting himself in harm's way as a result of that. But he still wants you to look beautiful and sexy and all of that, but he's trying to make sure that you don't put both of you guys in a situation
Where he
that
can't
may
protect
not
you,
that he can't
Yeah.
protect you. I'll
Yeah.
give you one even for my daughter. My our middle daughter, our youngest daughter.
Yeah, Celeste.
I was taking her to the gun range, and she has an amazing physique as a young lady. And she had on this cute little workout outfit or whatnot, and we were going to the shooting range. I said, sweetheart, I think you look awesome. I really do. I said, you're really blessed to be able to have the physique that you do, but we're getting ready to go to a gun range. There ain't gonna be no other ladies there. It's just gonna be you. The only thing I would like for you to do is take your sweatshirt and just tie it around your waist while we're there. She was like, "Oh my God, Daddy, these people just got to keep themselves together." And I said, "Wait a minute, your dad is training you for your husband, and you cannot respond to me in that way, because as your father, everybody got guns in there, right? And if somebody trip, you don't know what could happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like guys are going to look, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But don't put your dad in a situation where now I have to protect you, and I may potentially not come out of it alive just protecting you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's things like that when a man inserts himself in that way, then if your default button, oh, he's trying to be controlling, he's trying to change me, I thought he liked me like this before. No, he's actually covering you in a different way. And in many cases, saving you from yourself, because while you were single, you could get away with a lot of that. But in certain instances, as your man, he wants to make those edits. Now, there's another side of it too, because there's certain things that she can wear that's a lot sexier. Because she does have me.
Let me add this. If we're looking for a soundbite to what you just said, is if you are not whole Wonder Women. If you're not whole mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, that covering can feel like control.
Yes.
Right. And if you're feeling like it's control, but you really know he's not trying to control me, then I would check to see if you're really whole on the inside. There may be some things that you've not dealt with. There may be some things from your singlehood that are continuing to show up because the last guy did X, Y, and Z. My dad did X, Y, and Z, whatever. That is also a red flag for you. If he's trying to cover you and it feels like control, but you know that it's not really control, but it's landing on you like that, you may not be healed. You may not be whole.
Yes, those are keys. I want to just go back to something that you said, Cedric. I'm working. There's some areas I've been working in. You're right. When someone tries to tell me something, there was a time where I would just fall out of just, they tell me what to do. And that's a very important thing because my father was that way. And my father, if he was sitting on this live, he would say, you can't tell my child anything. But as I've progressed into my older years, it's very important to have someone, a covering that can say to you, like you said, that might be too revealing, that might be a little too much. And those are things that we as women, when you're talking about alpha male, alpha female, there's certain types of ways that we have to receive wisdom from men. That's why it's so important for men to be involved in the Wonder Woman conference, because we need that from men. It's good to have women, powerful speakers and prophets and all these different things who can talk to us, but you need the wisdom of men. And that is why it's so important, because someone asked me just today, why are men involved in the Wonder Woman conference? It's for reasons like this. You shared that for women who are in that space where I'm waiting to be found. You have to be receptive and okay of, he might say, you look good, but let's change it up a little bit because you go. And it was a time where I would probably curse you out and want to fight you. Now I'm like, okay, baby, like I got it now. For my protection. That's the purpose of having a covering. That's the purpose of having someone who has called to cover you. Because if you don't have that, it presents these different issues. And that is key. And that is yielding to, because sometimes women don't like to listen and they don't like to, they don't want to hear what he got to say. Those are the biggest issues in marriage. And so you are bringing up a great point that we women, us alpha women who are leaders, who are business owners, successful entrepreneurs, and all those things, we need to know that. And it's okay. It's okay to receive that wisdom, to receive that feedback, that guidance, whatever it is. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that is one of the things that I really want to focus on when you all are talking, facilitating, spending time with the audience. These are things that women need to hear. And it's important for us to have these successful relationships, but these are the conversations we don't want to have. When I first started talking in ministry, and I was talking about relationships, and I was talking about those things in the churches, there's two things that we don't want to talk about. That whole control piece, when they talk about, men are controlling, it's not that, in sex. Those are like the two things that nobody wants to talk about when it comes to. We're going to talk about that at the Wonder Woman conference.
Let's talk about it.
I want these women to be great, but these are conversations that need to be had in order to be successful in your kingdom purpose marriages. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with talking about these things, because people learn. And that's why I told someone, we can listen to what Kira has to say. You may be married, but there's some fine tuning that may need to happen to go to that next level. And that's why we have people who share and who are transparent about their journey, how they started dating, how they got together. All those different things are important, not just for those of us who are in expectancy, but for those of us who are already there. That was good.
I want to share this with you, Dr. LaShawn. I think my sweetheart hates it when I say this too. She hates it. It is what happens when masculine men, especially men who are marriage minded, encounter when, like, we literally kind of just accept women for who they are, right?
Yeah.
If they are kind of argumentative, they are alpha women, if they are this, if they are that, many times they might have an issue with getting sex, but they do have issue with getting a ring.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And so, but if we take it a step further, and the woman's like, well, I'm not used to this, and I'm not used to that, and this is just how I was raised, and here's how I roll, and ain't nobody gonna be controlling me, and all. We're like, okay. But then at the end of that, we're not necessarily going to negotiate with you. We'll accept you for that, and then we're just going to pick somebody else. That's what happens. We just pick somebody else.
Say that again. What?
We're just going to pick somebody else.
That's it.
Men who have options, which is a lot of them that do.
Yes.
We're just going to pick somebody else.
Yes.
And then years will go by, and women don't understand why is there no one accepting me in this particular way. It's because there does have to be an introspective look. Like, for instance, men who really do want to be successful, I want to tell you, we follow the signs. We find men who have what we desire, and we go, okay, I need to be more like this. I need to read. I need to work on my body. I need to get my income up. I need to get this, need to get that. And we expect to get a certain outcome.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, many of my sisters, and oh my God, I love my sisters so much. We have 4 daughters, and none of them are married.
Not
one of them are.
Not yet,
yeah. Right? But our goal is to help them by modeling and really assisting them in the area, and healing and doing all these other things are critically important. So for some of my sisters to just say, well, this is just me and that's it. No, follow, like, look, okay, I have to use my sweetheart as an example. She has been someone who has been redeemed in a lot of different ways. She's been married for over 20 years before, 4 kids, all those different things, couple broken relationships, disappointment with parents, all kinds of other different things like that. But going on that healing journey, and then being able to encourage ladies through her books, I Am Ruth and Time to Heal, and podcasts and things of that nature. But then also come out on the other side of it with us being together. She has, for people who are our age, many times that's what our road was, a little bumpy. And then now we're sitting here at 45, 46, 52, and we're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, who are you looking at that's done it?
Right.
Who are you looking at that has what you have, and really submit ourselves to that process of saying, you know what, let me try it this way because I've never tried it before. Let me heal for real.
Right.
Let me get whole for real. And, I'll say this is when you talk about being able to hear the masculine voice, you got the right one with Pastor Jordan. I'm telling you. So anyone that comes to this conference, you're going to hear it. And if you allow him to be real and be raw, it's going to bless you. If you allow him to be real and raw, I promise you, it'll bless you.
I want to ask this question to the ladies that are watching, for everybody that's watching now, live or later, and you're a lady, you're single, you're waiting for God to present you to your husband. My question is, when we use the word, I'm an alpha woman, is that what you want to be, or is that what you have become? That is a question that I want us to start asking ourselves. And if you do not want to be an alpha woman, that's not the position that you want. It is the position that I've had to assume. I'm assuming this position. Then let's not continue to speak that over ourselves. Right? So it's no different than anything else. I'm not sick. I'm healed. I'm not poor. I'm rich. I'm not depressed. I'm walking in joy and peace. So if we have the authority of our tongue, then we have to use that even in our singleness. I've had to assume the position as an alpha female, but that's really not what I want.
Yes.
Right? That's not who I am. Right. And then I would take it a step further. God did not create us to be the alpha.
No.
He made us second to Adam.
Absolutely.
And then he went on and he confirmed it in the New Testament. And he said that the woman is the weaker vessel. We are not first. We are not supposed to be first. We do not know how to operate being first. It is not the right position for us. And so the frustration that we had as single women is that we're constantly trying to be first, and then we earn the first badge, and then we come to the table to this man and say, I'm first.
That's it.
And I want you to cover me. And I want you to pay my bills. And I want you to love my kids that ain't gonna listen to you. And I want you to do everything I say. And I ain't gonna we can't do that.
Can't do that.
We can't do that.
Pick somebody else.
I hate it.
Say it again. Say it again, Cedric.
We just pick somebody else.
Pick somebody else because there's too many other women to pick. It's really a numbers. If you just look at the numbers, it's too many other single women.
That's true. And I have a few close male friends, Cedric, and, conversations have always been, I just keep it pushing to the next person. And, I don't think, and it's not a dig. I just don't think women get it. And we do have a lot to bring to the table. Most women do. But at the same time, he's not going to put up with that. He's going to keep moving.
And what else are we bringing to the table?
I want to ask
because we're not just bringing PhDs and good credit. We big in baggage and
wait a minute,
and abortion,
violence,
and aggression. We bring all the stuff to the table.
All the stuff. You're right. It's not just the good stuff.
It's not just the good
want
stuff.
to talk about what those things are. For me, it's temper tantrums. It's trying to get my way. These are things that, and because I've been single for a very long time, that's one of the challenges of not being in a relationship for us some time. And it's my prayer because I know that there are things that I have been working on, but it's like, it's been a minute. So it's going to be, how do we work together to go towards where we're going? And I don't know, sometimes women don't like to have those conversations or they don't like to admit those things, but that's important, Kira, because you're right. We do bring a lot of great things to the table, but we bring some things to the table that are like, wait a minute, what? And transparency and the honesty comes in. It is that time for me to have those conversations. It's like, I got all this, but it's some other stuff over here that I'm still dealing with. Or there's things that I haven't quite gotten over or gotten. So you're right about that, but it's how do we handle those? How do we handle those adversities, those issues, whatever they are, and still be that candidate, if you will, that he's looking for? And we have these conversations because a lot of women are like, well, he should be happy to get me and all this other stuff. But it's having those conversations about are you the gift? Are you his favor? And you brought that up because Pastor Jordan has shared some of those wisdom nuggets, Cedric, that you were talking about. And we've talked about that previously. And that's how you have to position yourself, is that, like you said, we're not the only one. And when you're seeing a man who has all these different things, he's a man of faith, a man of prayer, a strong relationship with God, not only strong, but hears from God. He's a business owner. He has a great career. He's making a lot of money. I mean, he's fine as all get out. It's everything that you want. But at the same time, how many women are lined up for that man? It's
a whole bunch.
Quite a few.
That. And so in having those conversations is, how are you positioning yourselves? I mean, of course, we're going to be a blessing to one another.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not one-sided ultimately. No.
And then the word of God actually says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains the favor of the Lord. Right? He obtains favor from God. But the favor, she is not bringing him favor. The favor is going to come from God. So that is the other thing. As women, we got to stop acting like I'm the favor. No, I'm not the favor. It's just that as I am present in your life, the favor of God is now going to come upon us. I'm not showing up and I'm favor.
Exactly.
Right? That's not what the word says.
That's not what the word says.
But because I am present, the favor of God will now come.
But you're present as a wife.
I'm present as a wife.
Present as a wife.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's not about, she's not present as being married. You're present as a wife, which has a whole lot that comes along.
And I'm not present as being single with a ring.
Okay, wait a minute.
Because that's the other thing. It's a lot of people that get married, but they stay single.
They do stay single. They do. As singleness can be a really, really difficult thing to break, but it is definitely breakable. Dr. Sean, you said something a second ago about, temper tantrums and things of that nature. And that's actually okay. but let me put it like in a context that I think would be very productive inside a relationship. So Kira and I have 2 jobs.
I know my job.
So you got 2 jobs. So here's the first set of jobs. My job is to spoil her.
Right.
I'm sure you like being spoiled, Dr. LaShawn, don't you? You do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
But
let
guess
me
what?
do a list of things now.
Right. But guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? Kira loves being spoiled, but my job is to spoil her, and your job is to
Not be a brat.
Yeah,
no temper
absolutely.
tantrums.
Absolutely.
No temper tantrum,
Because
because
now it's
9
it's
times
ungrateful.
out of 10, most of the things he's doing for you is going to skew in your favor anyway.
Yes.
So for this 1 time out of 10, 2 times out of 100, you got to hold it together.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to appreciate all the other things, because the resume is skewed in your favor all this time,
Mhm.
right?
Abs-
And then the other thing is, her job
Yes.
for me is to stroke my ego,
Right. Right.
okay? And my job is to not be arrogant.
Yeah.
Because as a man, when you get your ego stroked, many times you can get too puffed up,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, I am this. Yeah, I am. Yep, you know what? All right. No, and see that'll end up being a problem. So I gotta stay humble.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to stay humble in the process. So we try to keep a good harmony with those things.
Mhm.
And she's even caught herself before. And for instance, maybe something that's just not gonna go her way this time. And you can watch her catch herself like, I need to get it together. I'm okay.
Zip it
Everything
off.
is all right. It's like I watch her talking herself off the ledge.
Put myself,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
You have to.
And it's beautiful. It really, really is. It is a beautiful thing, because if you just continuously get spoiled, you'll feel like the whole relationship is about you, and then you can't build anything.
Mm-mm.
You can't
Yes.
build anything because you're too busy. I want, I
Right.
need.
And you miss all that.
And you
That's
miss it
what-
all.
Said everything.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
That's it.
if you take that part of you and put it in context of a good, healthy relationship, it can definitely be okay. You just gotta handle the brat part.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I've worked on that. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna be good. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Oh, trust me. Trust me. When you get in a relationship, you're gonna be starting all over again.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be so many places of comfort
Mhm.
that's in there that it just becomes almost like intoxicating. And then all of a sudden, it's like the
That's a good
comfort
word,
you're gonna
intoxicating.
have a moment where it may not be as
Mhm.
comfortable. You're like, wait a minute,
Right.
where's my stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. It
It's
does
gonna
happen. It does.
Yeah. So, Kara, for those women that are in the audience, those of you who have joined us, we're talking about the upcoming Wonder Woman conference taking place in, I don't know, it's like 2 weeks, 6
It's
I already
weeks.
got my
Town?
outfit. I'm ready.
Yeah, I've been trying to get myself together. It's
Oh,
hard.
Dr. LaShawn, you got a whole.
She looks so cute in that red dress she had on.
I know. I got to
I
get
love
it
that.
together.
I don't believe it.
I've been trying to figure it out. So yeah, we're talking about the Wonder Woman conference taking place May 10th and through the 13th. And Kara and Cedric are going to be gracing the stage
Mhm.
during our day sessions in the Houston area. And they are a delight. You definitely do not want to miss them. I have enjoyed all of the posts, everything that you all have been sharing with the world
I'm ready.
since you two have become one. And so thank you for that, transparency, and thank you for just showing what true love is. Even seeing you all in person, as I've had an opportunity to see you guys in person.
Mhm.
This is not just social media, y'all. They ain't doing this for social media. This is real life. And, I've peeped
All
you out
day.
times, and I'm like, Cedric is all right with me, and so people really need to know that this is what real kingdom love is like. This is what
Yes.
you
It
are
is.
praying and you are seeking God and really believing for someone who's going to come into your life
Yes.
and who's going to not just be the perfect husband, but the perfect mate in all things that God has for you, or the perfect wife, but all things that God has for you. So for the women that are here, that are listening, or that are watch the replay, Kira, I just want you to just share something that's on your heart as far as wisdom in the preparation period before we leave on this evening. Anything that can just give some hope to the women who are, I've seen some comments, I see some people are texting me and they're like, this is good, and I know, before we go into this, one of the ministries that God has given me, which is the weirdest thing ever, and I just fight God on this all the time. He has gifted me with the ability to pray for women who are believing for mates. And so this is something that I've been doing even really before I got into this whole ministry thing and really being, public about my love for God. And God would give me people to write on this list, Kira and Cedric, of women who I've been praying for.
Okay.
I would pray for mates. And sometimes God would prophetically allow me to see the men that he had for those women. He'd give me the areas to pray. And it's crazy because I kept this diary journal that I lost a long time ago. And, from time to time, people will call me and they're like, LaShawn, remember you were telling me it was going to happen then and you were praying. And so, a lot of times I have these conversations. And one of the things for me was like, I didn't know why God gave me that. Like, why was that my assignment? Because I'm like, did we miss the antennas, God? But I guess he knew how I was really faithful in prayer for people who were really close to me. And so there have been some times where, God has said, call this person and say, this person, is their mate, and I would do it. And then eventually it would happen. And so I've watched God move, just in miracles and people that, never thought they were going to get married. Not to say it was all just me praying, but just, keeping this list and praying for these women and covering them. And this is why I have such passion for women. And, one of the areas that, my heart is I want to see women whole and healthy. Yes. I want to see them happy.
Absolutely.
And always ask me like, well, how do you do this? And you're not quite there. And I said, I don't know, because I want to be obedient to what God has asked me to do. And so, Kara, while you're on the other end, you're sharing your life, you're being transparent, you're writing books on the waiting and to be, purposeful and live your heart out and what it's called for you to do and walk in your healing. I'm on the other end carrying this list around now in my phone. 2023. I'm calling these women out. I'm calling them out and I'm praying for these women. And even when they text me and say, I met somebody, now both of them, like, this is serious. I'd be over here like praying. So my heart is really for people to find their mates, because it's just different when you see people together. It's like real love. I hope somebody out there carrying that prayer for me. But anyway,
yes.
But it really is my heart's desire when people find love. And I really, truly, authentically love to see, people in love, and so for the women who, have texted me or they've reached out to me or, just in response to this, what is the advice that you could give them? What's something on your heart that you would share with just anyone who would come up to you and say, what do I need to do? How do I do it? Or what's the prayer? What did they ask Sierra? What was the prayer that he?
What was the prayer that she prayed for?
I can't think of his name, or all these different things.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell. What is that? What is that piece of nugget that you could give someone?
So the first thing that I would say is be really honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. I knew that even though I had been married and my marriage ended not because of my own deeds, but because of that, of outside influence. But there were things that were wrong with me. I was broken in places and I was not healed. I wasn't. And even though I was doing all of the things, I'm going to do this, and this. And we're so list focused, right? I'm going to do 1 through 5 and then this will happen. But I had to learn that God wanted me to love him first. And once he knew that I loved him, and I was able to be vulnerable with God, and I was able to practice being submissive on God, and I was able to practice listening with God, because that is the key. When you're single and you really want to be married, it consumes you. And that's all you think about. You get dressed and you go out and you're like, Lord, let him see me today, right? Not in a provocative way, but just in a hopeful way. And so when we are single and we're waiting, we're so consumed with being found and being prepared for marriage that it's almost like God says, but what about me? practice on me. I'm here right now. I love you right now.
Yes.
I want to heal you right now. That's what I had to do. I ate a lot of carpet.
Yes.
Meaning I was laying prostrate.
Wow.
Many a weekend.
Jesus.
When my friends were going on trips, God said, you stay home and pray.
Wow.
When they were going to networking events, you stay home and pray. Not stay home and watch TV, not stay home and get a glass of wine and DoorDash. Stay home and pray. Wow. Let me get this out of you. Let me bring these other things up. Let me reveal who you really are to me. And that way, when he does come, you have somewhere for him to be.
Wow, that's
there had to be room. He's 6'5". I had to create space for him in my life.
Yes.
Not just me in his life, but him in mine. And if I was going to have any way of being able to maintain his attention, because he could have picked somebody else.
Yes.
Now, my husband's very humble, but he's been on national television. We can't go to Schnucks. Somebody knows him. So I would be a fool to think that there wasn't someone else that could have sat next to him.
Absolutely.
God knew that. So I had to be ready. So women who are coming to the conference, sis, I know you getting the right heels and the right lashes and the right enhancements and your face going to be beat. I'm telling you to come naked, come unfiltered, come vulnerable, and come open. Allow God to clean you up. Don't go to another conference this year and think that you're going to get something different if you don't show up different. You can't have change in your life without changing.
Oh, that's powerful.
So just be ready. Be ready for real for once.
Yes.
As women, we put on so many things. Yes. To enhance us. We enhance our breasts, we enhance our hair and our boobs and our all of these things, waist trainers. And then we want a man to love us for our natural self. I just want him to love me for me. Well, he don't even know what you look like.
What you look like, right?
He don't even know, but you want him to love you for you. Come naked. Come before God naked. Come before your sisters naked. You don't have all the answers or you wouldn't be coming to the conference. You don't know everything. You don't need to be the expert this weekend. This time is for you to get what you need. Let God tell you the truth about who you really are.
Yes, yes.
No matter how much it hurts. That's my advice.
Oh my gosh, you got me over here teary-eyed. That's some real advice.
Yeah.
I love that. And my prayer is that women who are in attendance receive just that. Because, I know about that running from this conference to that conference to this church and that church to try to find that healing. And that was not what I needed. I needed to get before God. And you're right. My friends were teasing me, a couple of years ago before the pandemic, because I was like, I'm just going to stay home and just pray, because that was all I had in me. And it was so many broken nights of just me having to just be on my knees. My daughter would hear me crying and crying and praying, but that was fulfilling for me, because I felt like God was cleaning a lot of that out of me. And you just don't even realize how much is inside of you. You've dealt with so many things, for so long, so many hurts, so many rejections, and just all these different things that have come. So that right there is powerful. And that's what women need in order to be successful in ministry and in the marketplace and in marriage. That should have been part of the theme, but that's so important. And I thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Cedric, you want to chime in from a male's perspective? Because
my sweetheart pretty much dropped the mic. So I'm like, wow, there it is. For sure. I want our sisters to know that we want you.
Ooh, say it again, slow, baby.
Say it again.
We really do. I want my sisters to know that us masculine African-American men, we want you. We really, really do. You are really what we prefer. But unfortunately, in many cases, we are not equipped to help certain ladies through trauma and triggers and disappointment and all kinds of other things. Miles Monroe says it. He says men are not designed to heal you. We really cannot heal you. We can assist. We can be patient. We can be encouraging, but we can't do the work. But we really ultimately want you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so one of the things that we do, and one of the things that we promise each other, is that we will bring the best versions of ourselves
Absolutely.
to one another consistently.
Yeah.
And what that is, the best version of ourselves is not our representative. One of the reasons that we could court short and marry quickly is because we were completely authentic about who we were.
Yes.
You know, we really were. And we were extremely intentional about how we actually moved as it related to getting to know each other. I would venture to say, and our friends tease us a little bit, that we probably know more about each other in less than, was it 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah. In less than 2 years of knowing each other,
Mhm.
we know more about each other than probably couples that's been married 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Easy. You know, even when we were dating and when we hit the 6-month mark, we were still like, man, I don't think people's been dating 2 or 3 years know this much about each other, how we think, how we move, how we operate, what we're hoping for, how we process things. We talked about marriage long before that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, you know, so when we get a chance to really get into courtship quite a bit, even if a woman encounters a man who's interested in dating her, I'll show you how to flip it into your preference of courtship.
Mm.
You can actually flip it, but it takes feminine energy to do it.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
It does. You can literally flip that thing around, and next thing you know, he's at home looking for courtship. How does this work? Who knows how
Trying
this
to
works?
figure it out.
Because, you know, she introduced me to something I ain't never had before, and I'm excited about that.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
she's the kind of woman I've never had before, and I'm willing to figure out what that is and lead that. And one of the things I'll say about courtship, and I'm gonna shut up, is what's so great about it is that you come to the table with so much respect and admiration for one another that even if the relationship doesn't work out, you both leave the relationship uninjured. And you leave with your own dignity, and you're able to take the momentum of this courtship right into another relationship that may be the one.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. It's filled with so much respect and admiration for each other. You just respect a person so much. You're like, I would not just want to blatantly hurt you.
Right.
You know, well, I can see we got too many differences in these areas, but I got mad love for you. I respect you. I hope that it would go. I would hope that it would terminate to engagement, hopefully to marriage, but unfortunately it didn't. But we can be cordial, we can be cool, we can even be friends moving forward. And doesn't mean it doesn't hurt a little bit, but you'll be able to separate and still stay intact.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we stop hurting each other as
That's it. That's it. And
that's how we stop hurting each other.
And you kept your draws.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, that's important too. That's important.
Keep the draws.
You said we was gonna talk about sex. We cannot wait.
Keep the draws.
Yes, we definitely have to talk about that because sex is very important. And a lot of people run away from it. And, you know, I'm like, I don't understand why, because we're adults here. The Bible talks about sex.
I got so much to say about that. There are some things that my single sisters, if you desire to be in courtship with a man, some things you got to stop doing.
Yeah.
Can you tell us one thing?
You can't lead with your body.
Can't
lead with your body. Do not lead with your body.
The other thing is, whatever you're doing in your private time, just remember, if a physical male body can't do it, the screen didn't freeze. That's me pausing.
You saw my face. I was waiting.
If a male body can't physically do it, you might not want to make that an expectation in your relationship.
Start tapering.
You got to start. You're going to have to dial that down a little bit. Literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dial it down. Dial it down, because
start weaning
because a brother will be then lost before he even began.
Yeah. Can't
for real. It is. So and that's why singleness for too long can, again, when you talk about bringing things to the table, you could be bringing some bad habits too.
Yeah,
you could be bringing some things that sit right in the middle of your relationship that end up being a major problem and sometimes even a deal breaker.
Jesus,
which is one of the things I hate. You know, for all these things to be good, and then this one thing that we think is little, it's just you can't get past it. You know, so those go ahead. What you say?
Those habits can cause issues in future relationships, and again, this is a good conversation, and this can go on for hours, but it's important for people to hear what you just said, because those are things that we don't talk about in ministry, in the church, if you will. It's so important.
If someone is a smoker, if someone likes to smoke weed and do edibles, if someone always has to have shopping therapy, and they're constantly got their credit cards maxed out, it's like all those things you have to consider.
Right.
You have to consider, and it's not just, oh, he just gonna have to accept me for me. Well, brothers come to the table knowing that y'all don't necessarily have to accept us for us either.
Absolutely.
You know, and truth be told, if you look at those habits, are they really good habits or bad habits? Be honest.
Yeah.
You're like, this is problematic. It's problematic. And it needs to either be something that you've overcome or something that you're really aggressively willing to work on, and not just because he's perfect or she's perfect. Well, I'm going to do it if they perfect. No. You need to do it anyway.
Right. You need to do it anyway.
First of all, we know God ain't pleased with it if we want to keep it a buck.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, okay, I'm done.
Well, so we're gonna have to give you guys 2 hours at Wonder Woman Conference.
No, we're gonna be organized. We're gonna be organized.
Listen, this is some good stuff. You guys have just taken my brain to a whole nother level, and I'm like, we gotta stick to the topic at hand at the Wonder Woman Conference. But again, for those of you who have not heard, the Wonder Woman Conference, led by none other but myself, to Houston. This is conference number 6.
Wow.
I'm so excited that we are returning back in person. Kara and Cedric, God said I needed to take it on the road.
Take it on the road.
I heard God say Houston. I got on a plane in November, went down there. Was just like, this is it. So I don't know, what God is going to do, but I'm excited. I'm grateful for the support of you two, just for saying yes. I'm grateful for connecting with Pastor Jordan, who was able to connect me with you all. So I'm grateful for your expertise that you're bringing, your wisdom, your transparency, and all of that great stuff. And I'm going to be in the session taking notes, and maybe I won't have my makeup done for that session. I might need to cry and fall out on the floor too.
Come on.
I'm looking forward to it. And so those of you who will see this or who are watching this, the registration is still open for our day sessions. However, our afternoon and evening sessions are open to the public, to both men and women. We have our virtual experience that will go live. I believe registration will open up for that on Monday. So if you're not able to make it in person, but you do want to be at this conference in person, because I don't just put on average conferences. This is going to be amazing. And the people that have been handsome to curate the experience is going to be phenomenal. And I tell people this, I don't put nobody on the stage that has not blessed me. I don't put nobody on the stage at my conference that hasn't brought anything to my life. And I'm not interested in big people and this people and that people, but these are people who have been handpicked because of their authenticity, their transparency, what they have to bring to the table. God has shown me their hearts. Most importantly, they are effective in the marketplace and in ministry. And these are the people that we want to hear from in this time that God has called the Wonder Woman Conference to come and to bless you in the city of Houston. So if you can't make it, tag your friends, your line sisters, your cousins, your grandma, your mama, whatever. Everybody needs to be in the house. Texas, May 10th through the 13th. Listen, we have vendor opportunities. We're going to have a retail marketplace. For those of you who love to shop, come spend your dollars. Kara and Cedric will have both of their books on display for sale in the marketplace, and you want to be able to get their literature. I'm excited about that as well. So I want to thank you to Lovebirds coming live, as Pastor Jordan said, from the Cobb Estates. Beautiful new home. I'm so excited. I know, Carrie, you shared some things with me about the house. I can't wait to see it. I'm grateful that you guys are in your new home, and many memories to come. And I just thank you for what you share with us, what you share with women and men who are watching you, who desire to have some of those same things that they hear and see. No relationship is going to be the same. And I know just let me allow you, if just God has just shown me some things for the two of you. And I know that, right now there's the coming together, you all are newlyweds, but this transparency, the testimony behind your relationship and your marriage is going to take you to next level. You two will be able to open doors to other couples who are not just in the ministry, but in the marketplace. And even when I thought about it, and I've been praying for all of my speakers, that is going to be the two of you. And I hope that this conference will push you to the next level to do marketplace together as you begin to minister to couples. And it's not just on social media, but it'll be global opportunities that are going to open up for the
Jesus name.
Allow God to open those doors and things that He's going to do. And I will be one of your number one supporters. Even from here in LA, we share the same church home. I'm excited to be a member of the Advancing Church, who has been more than supportive in every effort that I've done. And I'm just thanking you all for gracing the stage and allowing me to be a part of your lives. So thank you for spending a few moments with me.
Absolutely. We love you.
Yes. I love you guys too. And thank you to those who chimed in again, share, tag, post, copy, whatever you all do. Just do it. Let the word out, because we do not want to miss the Cobbs at the Wonder Woman Conference. So again, thank you all. Have an amazing evening. Kara and Cedric, I will see you guys in Houston soon.
Yes.
Love you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right.
And blessings to you.
Blessings.
Bye-bye.